This is all his mother's fault. That's why she resigned, because she allowed her child to do something foolish. There was always a conflict of interest, and she knew it. And she gave him her corporate card. And his dumbass sent the credit card statement to the journalist. That's only something that a teenager would do. Who does that? And now you have these affluent kids with their parents' credit cards going to buy up all the sneakers so that they can sell them at a higher price. It's called retail arbitrage. They gentrified the sneaker game. That's why they call it urban wear, because this all comes from urban culture. This is what you call clout chasing. Everybody likes to use the phrase clout chasing, but they don't really know what it is. What's up, good people? It's the Poor Black Man. I respect your time and I respect your intelligence. Time is more valuable than money, so I'll try to keep this brief and informative. If you haven't been paying attention to a certain segment of the news, the North American Vice President of Business for Nike, the Nike Corporation Vice President of Business for North America, recently resigned after it was discovered that her son was involved in a sneaker selling business that appears to be, he appeared to utilize her status and her access as the vice president to funnel and fuel his business. This is all her fault, and I'll explain to you why it's all her fault. As a parent, you should encourage your child to pursue some entrepreneurial endeavors. But her losing this job, it is all her fault. It is not her son's fault. Let me explain. First and foremost, the shoe game, sneaker culture, has been gentrified by affluent white kids. Let me say that again. The sneaker game has been gentrified by affluent white kids. All right? I'm 37 years old. I was heavy in the sneaker game as a teenager, and I was kind of into sneakers when I was in college, and I actually stopped after I bought my house because I didn't care about shoes anymore, but I keep a fresh pair of kicks. Rock with me for a second so I can get into how this all works. All of these articles, Complex, Hypebeast, it was in USA Today, it's in Yahoo. All of these news outlets are reporting on this story. What you need to know is her son was interviewed by a journalist from Bloomberg. Her son thought it was a great idea to send that journalist the credit card statement showing how much money he was spending on sneakers. He sent a journalist the credit card statement to show how much money he was spending on sneakers. Whose name was on that credit card statement? His mom. The journalist had a clue that his mother was involved, but that only confirmed. After he Googled her name, he saw that mom was the vice president is a vice president at Nike. Mom had been with Nike for 25 years. Mom is going to be all right. Nike gives their employees stock. And if she's been with Nike for 25 years and worked her way up, I would like to think that she has invested and bought stock at a discounted price. Mother is going to be okay. As a matter of fact, she can pretty much write her ticket if she wants to continue to work in the corporate world dealing with sneakers, she can go anywhere. Let's make that clear. They probably gave her a severance package. All right. Let's make that clear. Rock with me because I got a point to make. Just hang on, hang on, hang on. This is all mom's fault. This is all mom's fault because she knew what her son was doing. She knew what her son was doing. If your child is spending $100,000 on your corporate credit card in a matter of an hour to buy shoes to resell them, what parent is turning a blind eye to their child and giving them a credit line, a credit card with, I don't know the limit. For those of you that do not know, it was an American Express, and yes, Amex cards do have limits. There is a spending limit based on your income, based on your spending history. Amex cards do have a limit. My limit is going to be different than somebody else's limit. I have 2 Amex cards, all right? So he's using her card, leveraging that debt to buy these sneakers and resell them. Mom knew exactly what he was doing. She knew exactly what her son was doing. And this is what her son was posting on the internet. Boxes and boxes of shoes in a warehouse. This gentleman is 19 years old. The young man is 19 years old. He dropped out of college. He was going to school in Oregon. Posting all of these boxes of shoes. The youngsters call this flexing. Look at me. I got all these shoes. But what it doesn't say is my mother is a VP at Nike and I have extra access. Because let me tell you something. Most of our friends, we meet our friends at school, at work, for the most part. People that we work with, people that we went to school with, people that we live around. So if mom has been working at Nike for 25 years, chances are he knows damn near everybody at Nike. They live in Oregon. Let's just keep it a buck. Okay? But let me get to my point. When it came to black kids, they told us not to waste our money on Jordans because that's what poor people do. We used to go out and buy Jordans, and if they were sold out, we would go to the suburbs because kids in the suburbs didn't wear Jordans unless they were basketball players or fans of Jordan. They didn't wear that stuff. Their parents didn't buy it for them. So we could leave the urban areas and go get it in the suburbs when I was coming up. You just drive a couple exits away and then you can get the Jordans, right? That's what they told us. Don't waste your money on those Jordans. Bring in eBay, bring in the internet, bring in PayPal. Sneaker culture grows thanks to Instagram, thanks to Nike Talk. And now you have these affluent kids with their parents' credit cards going to buy up all the sneakers so that they can sell them at a higher price. It's called retail arbitrage. They gentrified the sneaker game. That's why they call it urban wear, because this all comes from urban culture. Urban is another term for, sometimes they use urban in place of black, right? Urban wear. They gentrified the sneaker game after telling us that we were stupid for spending our money on sneakers. They went ahead and got their parents' credit cards and bought up all the sneakers so they could sell them back to us at a higher price. That's what they did. This is not uncommon. Rock with me for a second. This is not uncommon. Because when black people are doing something, it's wrong. But when white people start to do it and they bring in the money, it's right and it's profitable. They told you to not raise your kids in the hood. They said, do not raise your kids in that neighborhood. So you moved out to the suburbs, and the people with the money moved back, bought up all these houses, invested, gentrified the neighborhood. Now comes Starbucks and all the restaurants and the donut shops. They told you that this neighborhood was unsafe, and as soon as you left, they came back and bought up everything. Because living close to work saves money, and it's more valuable. It makes more sense to live next to where you work as opposed to commuting an hour and 2 hours. Regardless of how big the houses are, they realize that time is more valuable than money. And if I can save 2 hours on my commute, then that means my house is worth more. Then that means I get some time. I get my life back, right? They told you that selling weed is the worst thing you can do, and then they locked you up and put you in federal prison, only to legalize it and make it difficult for you to get into the business without $30,000 or $50,000. Now you got to have money to sell weed legally, and they was locking niggas up for it. Can I talk? They locked you up for smoking crack, but when the affluent kids got high off the opioids, now it's a public health issue. Am I making sense? Rock with me for a second. This is all his mother's fault. That's why she resigned, because she allowed her child to do something foolish. There was always a conflict of interest, and she knew it. And she gave him her corporate card. And his dumbass sent the credit card statement to the journalist. That's only something that a teenager would do. Who does that? This is what you call clout chasing. Everybody likes to use the phrase clout chasing, but they don't really know what it is. People are looking for attention. So they post things on the internet that they think is going to make them look good. That is clout chasing. Clout chasing is when you take a picture with a celebrity and you post that picture, say, hey, look at me hanging out with my bro, 50 Cent. That's not your brother. You don't know him. He just took a picture with you. That is clout chasing. The young man is taking pictures of all these shoes, bragging, saying, I'm better than you, I'm smarter than you, I have more resources than you, I have more connects than you. Look at me. This is clout chasing. Am I making sense? Let me take it a step further so I can wrap this video up. They tell you not to talk about money. They tell you not to ask people how much money they make. Well, there's a magazine called Forbes, and it talks about how much money people make, and they make millions and millions and millions in revenue every year. Millions and millions and millions. Talking about other people's money. But they told you to mind your own business and never talk about money. There's a person named Daniel Mack, a young man. He has 7 million followers on TikTok. Why is Daniel Mack TikTok famous? Because he goes around asking people what they do for a living. He walks up to people in exotic cars and he asks them what they do for a living. But our parents told us to mind our own business. That it's tacky. Even though whenever we see somebody in $1 million car, the automatic thought is, nice car. I wonder who that is. Pretty common. So what does 7 million followers get you? It gets you advertisement. It gets you partnerships. But they told us not to talk about money. They said it's pocket watching. They told us we were pocket watching. Well, look, we got a pocket watcher right here with 7 million followers. And all he does is ask people what they do for a living. Come on now. This is a teachable moment. This is a teachable moment. Parents, you should support your children. You should support your children. But don't ever get it twisted and think that you're so high up on your horse that you can allow them to engage in a business that is a clear conflict of interest. And it is very clear that he had extra access. You're telling me that your mother is the vice president at Nike and you don't have additional plug perks? I got a partner right now who lives in the Bay Area. His mother works at Nike in Memphis. He told me, don't buy anything from Nike without calling me. I can get you a discount. And his mom works at the factory. I guess it's a factory out there. So if I can get a discount from my partner, you mean to tell me this young man ain't getting perks from his mom? She's been there for 25 years. This is all her fault. Perhaps she should have said, do not sell Nikes, only Adidas, because I work here. You messing up the bag, son. But she didn't. So this is all her fault. She's got to take that L. It's the poor black man. The affluent kids came in and gentrified the shoe game. Let me show you some pictures. This kid named Benjamin Kicks. Look at this kid. Hanging out with all the rap stars, selling shoes. What is that, a Lamborghini with sneakers on top of it? Interesting. There he is again. This is urban wear. We set trends. We drive the culture. When I say we, I'm talking about black people. We drive the culture. They take what we do and they make money from it. They told young black girls to stop gyrating and twerking. They told them to stop twerking. But when the white ladies started twerking, they started selling twerk classes. Twerk classes. When the young black girls were twerking, they said it was unladylike. And they said that's why you're pregnant at 16, because you out here twerking. But white women came in and they started selling twerk classes. Come on now. People dying over shoes. They told us not to buy Jordans. The white kids, they went and bought all the Jordans and sold them back to us at a higher price. It's the poor black man. I respect your time and I respect your intelligence. Thank you for rocking with me. It's a teachable moment. It's his mom's fault.